With me now from Switzerland is my pal David Brandenberger. David, how are you?
Hi, thanks. I'm fine. Unfortunately,
David,
you don't see the beautiful mountain behind me. That's the famous Eiger North Face.
yeah, David lives in a beautiful place there in Switzerland. And David is with us today, for those of you who don't know, to tell us about the amazing worldwide tour that he has been on for 10 years or so. David was last with us in Australia about 6 years ago. And so we're going to bring everything up to date. He's got a lot of exciting stuff to tell us about his upcoming continuation of the tour. So, David, first of all, you were kind enough to send me a video that outlined your the history of your tour and where you've been. So, why don't we take a look at that right now?
The journey started in 2014 in Asup in Uherský Brod, where I made a short trial round around Czech Republic to Brno and a little bit Austria and back to Uherský Brod. And then in July 2015, I started for my trip from Uherský Brod around Poland, up to the sea, and then to Eastern Germany, back to Czech Republic, back to Uherský Brod, where I went to Asup for some changes. And then I went through Slovakia, Hungary, Romania, Bulgaria, down to Greece, around Greece, and then to Crete, a short trip to Santorini, and then to Turkey around the coast, and then a short around northern Cyprus, then crossing Turkey from south to north along the Black Sea, and then to Georgia. There I made a short detour to Armenia for a little bit of holiday. And then I went through Azerbaijan and Iran, and here I made a side trip without a trike, a little bit in Iran, and then I went all the way to Mashhad. Then I had to fly to Samarkand and to Tashkent, where my trike arrived by plane as well, but I had to leave the trailer behind, so I had to rebuild a new trailer here in Tashkent at the window frame factory. So with a new trailer I went on from Uzbekistan through Kazakhstan to Kyrgyzstan. In Bishkek I settled my trike and I went for some a trip and a hike up to the mountains and back to Bishkek, and that was around 2016, where I left the trike during the winter in Bishkek, went home to Switzerland, came back in spring 2017 with a friend of mine. He came along with me from Kyrgyzstan through Kazakhstan to the Chinese border. There he went back and I drove further on alone through China, down to the Gobi Desert, and then around Guangzhou, Ningxia, and up to Hohhot, where I had to leave the country for a short time. So I went to Ulaanbaatar in Mongolia, made it a short trip, and back to Hohhot, and then I went with a trike further on to Beijing and on the coast, where I put the trike into a ferry and I went to South Korea. So I drove all the way to South Korea to Busan, and then I shipped the trike to Hong Kong, and in that meantime I went to Taiwan, take a round trip with a train around Taiwan, and then I went to Hong Kong. Yeah, I wanted to go further on with the trike to Southeast Asia. That wasn't possible, so I shipped it to Australia, and in the meantime, as I got the Australia visa, I visited Hainan Island by train, and then as I had the visa, I shipped the trike to Australia, and I went by plane to Hanoi, made a short trip to the sea and up to the mountain, and then all through Vietnam to Ho Chi Minh City, and then I took a flight via Singapore to Darwin. And then I had to wait for my trike to come, so I went to Kakadu National Park, got the trike there, and in Darwin I rebuilt a new trailer as well, so I had my third trailer. And then I went on my trip first through Northern Australia, then to West Australia, to Broome, then down to the west coast, to Perth, and down to south, and all along the Nullarbor, and up down to Port Lincoln, up and down to Adelaide. In Adelaide, I went out of the country because of visa regulations down to Bali, made a round trip in Bali, came back to Adelaide, and went further on with a trike to Melbourne. And there I had to wait for new solar panels, so in the meantime I went to Tasmania, went down to the overland track by foot, and then a friend took me around Tasmania with a road trip, and I went back to Melbourne, packed the new solar panels on the trike. Then I went further on up till Sydney, and in Sydney I shipped it to New Zealand, and I went in the meantime to Fiji, just had a brief look around. Then I went down to Auckland, gave my trike, and first I went around the Northland loop, and then a North Island around Mount Taranaki down to Wellington, and then further on to the South Island, and I did some hiking trips in these areas, and further on the east coast down to Christchurch, and then I went a little bit through the mountains down to Invercargill, and then I made some short hikings down on Stewart Island and went back cycling, and then I had to go back to Christchurch, and there it was 2020 March where the lockdown happened and everything was closed, all the border crossings and everything was closed. So I spent half a year in Christchurch and wrote my book and did some other works, so I could do a lot of work anyway. Then in September 2002 I went back home to Switzerland, published a book, then I translated it to English, made an English version of the book, did some shows, and beside for sure I was working. And in 2024 in April I went back to New Zealand, to Christchurch, got my trike, shipped it back further on to Vancouver, and in that time I visited some islands in Vanuatu, some islands in Solomon Islands. Then I went further on to Philippines, where I did some short trips here. Then I had short breaks in Hong Kong, where I met some friends, and then I flew all the way to Vancouver in Canada. Then I got my trike here, and I headed off through British Columbia all the way up to Prince George, over the Rocky Mountains, or basically not the Rocky Mountains are ending here, so I was a little bit further up, all to Darwin Creek. And then I had to do a kind of a detour because Jasper National Park was burned down, so I went all around and then went through Banff National Park to Calgary, and then up to Drumheller to Edmonton, where my trike is still there. But I wanted to see something more of the country, so I headed off by train to Winnipeg, further on to Toronto, Ottawa, Montreal, and Quebec, and then I met a nice friend here in the Sherbrooke area. And that was the end of my Canada journey in 2024. So this May I will go back to Edmonton and then further on south. Thank you.
All right. Well, that's awesome. What an epic tour you have been on. David, let's take a closer look at the rig, what you have been riding. Tell us a little bit about the Trike and the trailer that you've been using.
So the Trike and the first trailer was made in Czech Republic at ASUP. I had to make some advertisements. And so they built that according to my ideas. And Honza and Karel, they did already 7,000 kilometers, more than 7,000 kilometers on the sun trip. And they could just get all their experience into my project. And so they were still ready with all this experience, and so they just put everything in my project, and I went on for my tour. So the Trike itself is an ASUP T-Tris 20. So it has everywhere 20 inches wheels in the front, in the back, and in the trailer. So I don't have to carry different sizes of tires and tubes. And the trailer is just something that they made for an unknown thing, and they was dangling somewhere in the barn. And as I came along, they said, "Oh, we now can use that thing," and so we used that for my project. And so that's kind of made at ASUP as well. And we combined that, put the solar panels on it, and I put my huge stuff of luggage in it and went on my trip. Yeah, during the trip, you have seen in the video that I rebuilt the trailer 2 times, once in Uzbekistan and once in Darwin. And I hope that's the last one, because I really don't want to make a new trailer anymore.
Makes sense. Yeah. David, did you talk about the e-assist system? What are you using for your motors?
Oh yeah, I use mainly a hub motor in the back wheel. That's the motor that I use most of the time. That goes from 10 to 25 kilometers an hour. I don't know or the mileage. And for the steep uphills, because I'm very heavy with that load, I will easily drop down below 10 kilometers an hour. So Honza suggested that to me, to build a mid-drive motor in front of the pedals. So that is attached with a single speed chain to the motor, and that goes about 4 to 8 kilometers an hour. So that can drag me up the hills very slowly, like a snail's pace, so to say.
David, so is this implemented now? So you have the mid-drive motor and a hub motor now, is that correct?
Yeah, so I still have 2 motors.
Good. Now, would you want to share with us what the current motors are? What do you have? Do you know? The hub motor and the mid-drive? You've been through a lot of them, I understand.
One is Enduro Electro Ride. That's from the US somewhere. That's the hub motor, and the other one is from Taiwan. I can't remember the name. I have to look up on my own website. I write it down on my website on technical information.
Maybe we'll look that up and we'll put that in text below so that we know. Okay, good enough. All right, let's get to a very basic question that I'm sure people want to know after they've learned all the amazing places you've been and the trials that you've been through. Why are you doing this, David? Why do you tour? Why do you want to go around the world with a Solatrike?
Because I'm stupid. No, I think I don't know. I really like to travel, and but last time, as I was in South America, riding around with buses, and so you always see some beautiful places outside, and you just pass, and you don't get back there easily. So I thought next time I have uh, to go on my own transport, and the bike was a suitable thing. But the thing is, I carry too much stuff, so I had to go come up with a solution to carry all these things. So first I thought about an electric motor, and then where to charge the batteries, where there is no socket nowhere in the desert or in the forest or so. So I came up with solar panels. I had no idea about that, but I finally found the right people who had some ideas. And the other thing is, as I turned about around 40 or so, I was still single, solo, no woman. So I was a little bit too ugly, I guess. And then I thought, what the heck? Why should I just work for until I'm retired and then fall over dead or whatever? So I just go on touring and see the world before that. And now, 10 years later, I'm still ugly, I'm still solo, but I'm still traveling.
So adventure clearly became part of your life, and you wanted to include that in your life. So, with that in mind, let me ask a question about some of the dangerous situations you might have encountered, part of the adventure. Can you give me an idea about some of the things that might have scared you along this trip?
The highways in China, they were wide and barely no traffic on it, and there was a big shoulder I could ride on, so there was no problem at all. But at some points there was a construction site, and they urged me to go on that construction site. I mean, in China, when they want to rebuild something, they tear everything down and build from the bottom again. So that road was completely not existent. It was kind of a dirt track, had a gap like that on each side, and I couldn't move out because otherwise I would just tip over. And there were trucks running up and down this dirt track, dust raised up everywhere. So I was completely sunken in that dust. No one could see me. I put on the lights, but still there was a truck coming right in front of me, just on my lane. And I didn't know, what shall I do? Will he overrun me, or shall I just jump out and leave the trike overrun, or what? I really didn't know how to react. What shall I do? So I pushed my horn, my air horn. That is the loudest thing that I could do. And in the last moment, he saw me or he heard me, I don't know, and he swerved around me, and that was kind of scary. The other scary moment was in Turkey, as I went in the middle of a storm up on a hill, and I was riding in the rainstorm, lightning flashes, thunderstorm, and I was on top of a hill, and I had these flags behind my ears pointing up to the sky with the flashes all over, the lightnings all over. That was kind of scary, but yeah, otherwise all good.
Very good. All right. Yeah, that sounds a little dangerous for sure. All right. So those are dangerous situations. How about some highlights? I'm sure you have many highlights to talk about. But when you think back of all of the miles you pedaled, what stands out in your mind as the highlight?
Well, that is really a hard question to tell, because I really can't tell which is the most beautiful or so. There are beautiful landscapes and dull landscapes everywhere. But one thing is the generosity and hospitality along the road. that is really amazing, especially in Iran, but also in some places where you don't expect it, and yeah, so people come up to you and invite you or give you something to eat or whatever. It's just amazing, and I think that is the most yeah, that is one of the highlights, I think, on the road. I can't compare landscapes because landscapes are so unique everywhere and beautiful everywhere.
Absolutely. Okay, great. Let's bring it up to date then. Let's talk about this year because you have some really interesting plans that you have made, and I want you to share those with everyone. So let's talk about touring this year, 2025. What is your plan?
So my plan is to go back to Edmonton, where my trike is still standing there and waiting for me, and then go south. That means go to the U.S. border, and I hope this gentleman is in a good mood and let me in that day. And then I will go a little bit zigzagging around the west of the US. I try to cover a lot of national parks for sure, because I really want to see these beautiful landscapes, and it's so stunning. I can't wait to see all of this. Um, yeah, I had kind of I made kind of a rough plan where to go, and for sure I always have to make some corrections here and there, or did a little bit a detour here or there. Just like it depends on the situations where I will be at that time.
How long do you plan on continuing to do this? Is that as far as long as you can, or what are your plans for the future?
I mean, yeah, the motor is as far and as long as I can, but the thing is, as far or as how much money I still have. It depends on my saving as well. So, roughly 4 or 5 years, and then I will be 60. So I think that will be a good time to stop this whole thing. But I will see. I don't know. That depends on so much factors. I really don't know. Yeah, I mean, after the U.S., I tried to cross Mexico and Central America and South America. But yeah, if I can do it or where and how, I don't. I really have no clue at the moment.
Fair enough. All right. So support. So you were talking about you can also do it as long as you don't run out of money. Well, you do take donations, I've noticed. This will take us to your website. So tell us a little bit about your website for people that want to support you and what they might find on the website, and how can people donate to your cause?
Oh, well, yeah, you can visit my website and spend hours, days, months to see all what I put on. I have folders for every country, for every theme, whatever, and photos from the of the Solatrike where I was in every region. I have his information of the build of the Solatrikes, the technical information I had. I have information about when you want to ride with me, or when you want to donate, or so there is a sponsor site, or there is a I can't tell. It is so huge, my website. You really can spend hours, especially to see all the Solatrike videos or the other videos that I make as well, or also listen to my music. Yeah, that's huge. Yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah.
David, so yeah, let's mention that too. So David is multi-talented, folks. He does, first of all, he makes beautiful videos, so you should check them out. You'll get a little taste of that from the video that you saw earlier, and also the video you're going to see here in a minute. He made a short kind of promotional video of his book. So yes, David also writes. There we go. We're going to see a little promotion about that. And don't forget his music. He plays wonderful guitar. And see, now I thought you were going to pull the guitar off from over here and just start.
Oh no!
No. Don't worry about it,
it.
folks. If you want to hear David play the guitar, we also had him on the show a second time a few years ago on one of my least watched videos of all time. Not because of David. I'm not going to say that. But I don't know. But I guess people aren't that interested. But if you want to go look for recumbent music videos on Laidback Bike Report, look it up. You'll see David playing there. And he makes the point of this is he also makes the music for his videos. He does a great job with that. I think that needs to be said. Now, let's go at this point to take a look more closely at your book. All right. So there's David's book, guys. Lots of information in there. Yep. Interesting stories. Lots more than what you're going to see here. So help him out. Buy the book. It's great. All right. David, let's finish it up then. Anything else you want to say as we say goodbye then today?
Yeah, about the book. The thing is, it's a beautiful copy, but unfortunately, shipping it from Europe to America is quite very expensive. I don't think that Amazon is it's available on Amazon in the US. I don't know. But you can have a PDF from myself. It's cheaper, but if you put the right settings, it's just like the book. If anybody wants to host me along the way through the US, you're very welcome to drop me a line and invite me to your home.
David will be very entertaining if you do that, folks. It's something that you should think about if he's coming close to where you live. So, all right, David Brandenberger. David the Beaver, also known as. We are so happy to have had you on the show again. We wish you all the luck in the world on your upcoming tour. We'll stay in touch. You be careful, and we'll see you around, David.
Thank you very much.